Imagine spending 2,000 euros on a smartphone in 2026 that doesn't have 5G. It sounds like a tech enthusiast's fever dream, right? But here I am holding the Huawei Mate X7. Huawei is basically playing the luxury card here, trying to prove that build quality and camera optics can outweigh the lack of Google services and modern connectivity. Is this the pinnacle of foldable engineering, or just a very expensive piece of jewelry? Let's get into it. Opening this thing is an event. It comes in a massive black box, and the phone greets you fully unfolded. Inside, you get a matching vegan leather case with a metal kickstand. But in a move that's becoming annoyingly standard, there's no charger in the box. You get a 6A USB-C cable, but you'll have to shell out extra for their 66-watt or 100-watt bricks. For $2,000, you'd think they could throw in a plug, but I guess that's premium for you. This is where Huawei flexes. Unfolded, the Mate X7 is a ridiculous 4.5 millimeters thin. When it's closed, it's 9.5 millimeters. It actually feels like a regular smartphone, similar to an iPhone 17 Pro Max, rather than a bulky brick. The back is this gorgeous vegan leather. We have the Nebula Red version, and it feels incredibly grippy and smudge-resistant. They've also upgraded the toughness to IP58 and IP59. That means it can handle high-pressure water jets, which is wild for a foldable. The hinge is the heart of any foldable, and this year Huawei used steel components with a mechanism strength of 2,350 megapascals. They claim zero pressure between the screen and hinge. The inner screen also has a new 3-layer composite structure that's supposedly 100% better at resisting bends than the Mate X6. It feels solid, though the plastic border around the inner screen still gathers dust like a magnet. Both screens are LTPO OLEDs with 120 Hz refresh rates. The inner display is an 8-inch beast with a resolution of 2210 by 2416. Huawei claims a peak brightness of 3,000 nits on the cover screen, but in our lab tests, we hit around 1,205 nits in auto mode. That's still very bright, but let's be real. Samsung Z Fold 7 and the Vivo X Fold 5 are still winning the brightness wars. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Kirin 930 Pro. It's manufactured on a 6-nanometer node, which is a big deal for Huawei, but let's be honest, it's still a mid-range chip by 2026 standards. It's a 9-core setup with a Maloon 935 GPU. While it's a massive 75% jump in graphics over the last generation, it's nowhere near what Qualcomm is putting out right now. In day-to-day use, it's snappy, but when you push it, yikes. In our stress tests, the CPU throttled to 51% of its performance when unfolded, and a measly 33% when folded. The GPU performance literally gets cut in half because the phone is just too thin to dissipate heat effectively. It's great for multitasking, but if you're a hardcore mobile gamer, those thermal limits are going to hit you hard. It runs EMUI 15, which is unfortunately still based on an Android 12 core. No Google mobile services out of the box. You can use Getbox to get the Play Store, and it actually works decently well. We even got Full HD HDR10 on Netflix through it. But it's still a tinkerer's phone. If you want a seamless, it just works Google experience, this isn't it. They managed to squeeze a 5,600 mAh battery in here, an 8% increase over last year. It scored an active use rating of 1158 hours, which is solid for a foldable. For charging, you get 66-watt wired and 50-watt wireless. It's quick, 44 minutes for a full charge. One pro tip, tap and hold the charging bubble to speed it up, a classic Huawei quirk. Huawei calls this camera housing the time-space portal. A bit dramatic? Maybe, but the tech is legit. The main 50-megapixel sensor has a variable aperture from f1.5 to f4.0. This lets you control the depth of field naturally. It's a large 1.28-inch sensor that captures some of the most detailed 12-megapixel photos we've seen on a foldable. The new 50-megapixel telephoto has 3.5x optical zoom. It uses a vertical periscope structure that makes the module 44% smaller. Daytime shots are incredibly sharp, way better than the Mate X6. The 40-megapixel ultra-wide is also great, though the white balance can be a bit hit or miss, occasionally giving images a weird greenish tinge. This is where that massive main sensor earns its keep. Low-light photos are stunning with great texture and dynamic range. However, weirdly, the telephoto camera struggles after dark. Whether it's an OIS issue or aggressive noise reduction, the 3.5x zoom at night is actually a step back from last year's model. Video quality is excellent. You can do 4K at 60 FPS on all rear cameras with very impressive stabilization. The stereo speakers are loud, scoring a very good in our tests, but the vocals sound a bit flat. It's a great multimedia machine, but it's not going to replace your dedicated speakers. So, what's the verdict? The Huawei Mate X7 is a masterclass in hardware design. It's thin, tough, and the cameras are top tier. But at €2,000, you're paying for a mid-range processor, no 5G, and a software experience that requires a lot of patience. If you're a camera nerd who loves the leather aesthetic, you'll adore this. Everyone else, you might want to wait for a price drop or look at the Samsung Z Fold 7. This is NexLab Reviews. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.